Hola.
The show just caught her attention, so if she's not paying anybody attention, the TV's got her attention.
Look at Roxanne.
Look, Roxanne with the piggy.
The piggies.
Oh, she's gone up. Hang on.
Look, Mirka, over here. Look.
Let's put it on. Let me put it on speaker view. Who's this? Roxanne, say something. Show up on speaker. Let's see. Let's pin their video so we can see.
That was a Diego flyby.
Yeah. There. See, look, Auntie.
Oh, my miracle. Mwah. Mwah.
She got Band-Aid.
Look, who's the dog? Look, remember? Yeah, Band-Aid.
I can't hold the pig up, so good luck on that.
I love it. What happened? Oh, what happened? The Band-Aid came up. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope we're all doing all right. Welcome to the Power Hour / Family Hangout / the best day relationship for couples, where we're just having some fun today. And I just want to give a shout out to all our beautiful couples. Dean, where's Christy?
It's really early in the morning.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We all I think we're all kind of sick, so she's laying down. We're not feeling too good.
Okay, awesome. And then early there. So hi, Auntie Vinny, Auntie Vinny, Auntie Tanya. So Tanya's hiding out. Yes. So today is very special. Uncle Vinny, Auntie Tanya. I'm gonna get in so much trouble from Vinny right now.
It's all right. I'll get it for you.
Oh, Uncle Robert.
Auntie.
Yeah, she's right. Anyway, so today, Anna and I wanted to do something special. So first of all, if we can I'm going to highlight these beautiful anniversary souls. We wanted to really just celebrate 31 years of love between Robert and Roxanne and tell you guys how much we love you both. And so today we'll do just a special for the couples sharing. But before we jump into anything, some of you guys don't know the beautiful love story between Robert and Roxanne. So we would love for you guys to share with everyone.
You know my Roxanne is bigger jokesters than
Obama.
Yes,
I'm gonna log out, log back in. We're getting really bad reception, so I'm gonna just log out and log back in.
Okay,
we'll be right back.
Okay. It's like slow motion mine.
Uncle Dean, yeah.
Yeah. So
Uncle Dean got a haircut.
He did. Look at that. Uncle Dean is partial Marine today. That's what it is. So welcome all the couples. So today's really for couples and then some information and learning and knowledge. And we just wanted to hang out as a family. We still have Q&A at 3 and then the presentation at 6. And then tomorrow is family day. Take the day off. Don't do nothing tomorrow. Tomorrow is we do nothing day. If you're caught doing something, you're going into penalty box. Telling you right now. Better not let me catch you. So I don't want to have a request for a 3-way call, a Zoom, a nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, work at their own risk.
It's been a long 90 days or 96, 97 days. And everybody needs a rest. It doesn't mean you're not going to think about it, Sarah. Honestly, you probably will all be thinking about it, missing everybody because it's going to be like a shock. But sometimes we do need that break. Yeah. And it actually goes right into the whole thing with relationships, actually.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do starting today for our day off tonight? Like when we're done?
So we have big plans for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We do. We are going to sleep in, but tonight we're going to binge watch a whole season or whatever we decide, so that we can actually sleep in. Miracle might have her own plans, but we're still going to do our thing. But really, we're just going to take the day off. Like the goal is not to turn on our phone until nighttime. That's the goal. Doesn't mean we will do it, but that's the goal, is to be able to give ourselves time to just reconnect back with Miracle, really, because these last 90 days have been so intense that we just kind of let her run wild for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so our carpet is like 50 different colors.
Yeah, 49.
49. Okay, yeah. She's I have to kind of baby proof the house again because she's getting a little bit taller, so now she can reach the table, and so she hits her head all the time there.
The carpet is every color of
So, yeah.
Jello. Every color of Jello.
And sandwich.
Yeah, a few flavors of sandwiches and ice creams and whatever else she ate, or we let her eat and do whatever. It's also apple. She likes the
Applesauce thing.
applesauce, so it's different flavors of applesauce. It's everything. So we're just like, this is interesting. No need to stress or fuss about it. Just love on her, because we jumped into this whole thing and it was like, Miracle was like, oh, you want to abandon me? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do.
No,
I'm
we
going
did
to make
not
it
abandon her.
That's how she feels. It's not what we did. It's how she feels. Right? Because she'll come over and be like, Dad, I'm still here, Mom. Right? And I've taught this chick to be as adventurous. And boy, when we're working, trying to do whatever, this is what
So she counts around us. We have the couches all lined up. So she goes from one house to the other and jumps now. Like she can actually jump, like a whole jump.
Yeah.
And what she's doing now, and then she just crashes into the couch and bounces back and then gets up. And then she wants us to push her. So it's fun having children. It really is fun. It's a different kind of an adventure. But when it comes to working a business and raising a child, that's a challenge. So we're learning that. So I commend all the single moms out there that are figured it out, because this mama has a whole nother partner and we're figuring it out still. So with that, I see Robert is back. Robert, are you on so you can tell us your guys' story?
Yes, happy anniversary. We love you both. Let's get them to oh no! What did I do? Okay, hold on. I think I put him in a waiting room. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Oh my god. Remove participant. No. Where did he go?
Go back this way.
Let's see. I hit the wrong pin. Hold
Maybe
on.
he hit the button.
Oh my gosh. You're in every waiting room. Hold on. I think I made a boo-boo.
Okay, so
Hold on. It just says remove participant. Okay. Is it from the waiting room? From where? I don't. Hold on. Oh, none.
Okay, maybe they just lost connection. So let's go to our favorite couple in the whole entire world.
Yeah.
The ones that actually made Mom and I's story become a reality. So let's go to the Cochrans.
Yes.
We love them so much. They know we love them. And Miracle loves Auntie Tanya's fingers, because Auntie Tanya does not like anybody touching her fingers except for Miracle. So let's go to them.
Yeah. So without any further ado, Vinny and Tanya Cochran, please share with us your story and your top 3 things for being together so long. They're both very funny, so please. But Vinny and Tanya.
All right. Well, we met 26 years ago through the Marine Corps. we were at the same unit, and so I had just checked into the unit, but his staff sergeant is somebody that I knew. So he was, Obama, you understand this. He was the platoon sergeant for his section. So I worked in the same building. So I walked into his little workspace, and I was just like, is Staff Sergeant Holmes here? Now, mind you, we're both sergeants. He said, you can't speak? I said, I don't know you. My mama told me don't speak to strangers. Is the Staff Sergeant here or not? He was like, no, he ain't here. I said, well, okay. So that's kind of like how it started. Of course, it didn't start off well. You know, being a platoon sergeant and, you know, it's your home and don't nobody come into your space and just try to tell you how to do whatever. That was him. And me, I'm just like, you're not going to tell me what I can do. You the same rank as me. Leave me the hell alone. Is the man here or not? Then I let him take it from there. That's how it first started. You can take the rest.
There's so much more to that story.
Yes.
Obviously, the bottom line is
We're together.
she came in with an attitude.
Yes, I did.
And I wasn't having it.
But it's okay.
A couple days later, I had to save her.
No, you didn't have to save me. Being a Marine, I can take care of myself. It's called survivor skills. But I'll finish. So we have what we call shelter house. So it's two pieces to put together, to snap together with tents and poles to make like a little tent. So like I said, I was new to the unit. I didn't know anybody. So we went on this little evolution in the field, and all I had was my half. So I would have had to find somebody to share. So since I didn't know anybody, I was by myself. So he had a little pop-up tent. So he allowed me to share the pop-up tent with him. But if he'd have said no, I'd have just slept in the back of the truck because I knew how to do that. So he didn't necessarily save me. I'd have adapted and overcame, because that's what we are taught to do as Marines. You would definitely overcome. So I didn't really need his little daggone pop-up tent. I'd have just slept in the back of the truck and I'd have been good. So you ain't saved me.
Now, granted, it was
cold.
November, December time frame. It was about 5 degrees
I had a
outside.
sleeping bag.
But anyway, that all turned into a great friendship that obviously led to a marriage that will be 23 years of marriage this December. 23, 24, one of those.
We're technically at 23.
24 years of marriage. And I get confused, everyone, because we actually got married twice in the same year.
In the same year. Yep, twice in the same year. We got married in January of 97. And then we turned around and had a big fancy church wedding in December of 97. So that's why it's 23, 22, depending on how you look at it, depending on what time of year it is, will depend on the answer that you get. But it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, you talk about 3 things that I think has kept us together. And for me, just like we talk about in business, it's, you know, building a relationship and the friendship first, and always remaining friends throughout everything. You know, you can argue with your spouse, even though I don't argue ever. But, you know, as friends, even if you argue with a good friend, you can always come back and, you know, remain friends if you're actually good friends. So we've always been good friends. Our family aspect, her family, my family, get along just great. I think that's always a plus.
Yep.
In a marriage, is when I have 0 issues with her family. She has 0 issues with my family, and everything just clicks. We are different,
yes.
You know, really totally different, which is a good thing. And what I've learned about that is, you know, regardless of how different you are, never try to change the person that you married from who they were when you married them. because you married them as that person. I see a lot of couples that unfortunately expect their spouses to change along the way. But, you know, she hasn't changed from the person she was when we got married. I haven't changed, but we've grown together, which is a good thing. So I would definitely say embrace the differences that you each have, and grow together through your differences. So that's really my 3: friendship, don't try to change anyone, and embrace the differences that you have. And that's worked for us completely for the last 24 years.
26. We've been together 26. For me is, I accept him for who he is. He is my calm to my storm. For those who may or may not know, I am a very passionate person. It may be the Sagittarian in me, I don't know. It could be that female Marine in me, I don't know. It could be that short person complex, I don't know. But he is my calm to my storm. And I appreciate that, because I don't want anybody who is just as passionate, just as strong, and we don't have that balance. Also, I know for me, what has kept it strong for me is that he was sent to me from God. And I truly believe that. We had a lot of things in the beginning that could have been obstacles to us staying together, but somehow, some way, it was able to happen. And that's why I truly believe that God sent him to me, because he knew I needed somebody who was calm, didn't stress, didn't get angry, just is accepting me of who I am, and is not willing to change me. And the last thing is, like I said, I can be my true self. Those are the 3 big things for me that is, I feel, has kept us strong and together thus far and continue on. This man right here, this is my boo. This is my boo. My boo. I don't mind sharing. So, Obama, you lucky I like sharing them. Otherwise, you'd be SOL. SOL.
Yes.
You would be SOL. That's us.
You know, we love both of you. You guys know that, and we sincerely appreciate you guys. So thank you for sharing a little bit of your story. You know, what's been helped keeping both your amazing souls together for so long. But we're gonna. I saw Robert and Roxanne jump back on. We're gonna come back. We want to jump to the anniversary lovebirds, and I want to highlight them again this time. Do it right. Let's pin the video. Pin the video this time. I think, Robert, I accidentally put you guys in like no, it makes you guys the center of attention. So
Yeah, you don't take a pin and actually put it on the video.
Yeah. No.
That would break your computer, so that would not be good. And Obama, I don't know if it's just me, but your guys' sound is coming through really, really quiet.
Let me raise the sound here and see in the audio settings, which, by the way, yeah, so hopefully that's better now. Okay.
By the way, Vinny, we got the thing. It should be here soon.
Yeah, buying a real nice microphone so we can have premier sound on our system. Right? Yeah. So what I want to say before I introduce Rob and Roxanne, after 31 years of marriage, is a lot of you guys don't know Robert and Roxanne's actual, not story, like fairy tale.
Yeah.
Okay? Is these guys go way back, like 4 flats on a Cadillac and ride smooth all day. But you know, one of the reasons Annie and I actually wanted to connect with them besides business was because of their relationship. We saw Robert rocking the stage years ago, the first time when we kind of connected and met with him, and he was marketing one of his programs, and the main reason we got the program wasn't even for the program, was just to associate ourselves with him and his wife, because I wanted to be around someone who honors and cherishes his wife and their relationship. He spoke about his wife same way I did when we would do presentations. And then one day we got to see Roxanne, and I was like, I don't know what it is. I don't even care what he's selling. We're buying because we're going to spend time with them. And lo and behold, it took like almost 7 years because right at the time when my wife said she didn't want to be my accountability partner anymore, like literally, whew, I just figured out my response time from the universe is 48 hours.
Mhm.
Because 48 hours later, Robert sent out an email and he was announcing a new accountability program. And I'm like, sign me up. I'm there. When I got introduced, well, basically, I set out a big vision in January. And 48 hours later, I got the call about ACSIRA. My response time to the universe is 48 hours.
Okay.
All right, so without any further ado, Rob and Roxanne, 81 years of marriage. You guys got to hear their story and the top 3 things that, has been keeping them together. So Rob, Roxanne, love you guys, AKA Rob Rocks.
Well, today's actually another very special day. And so we're so happy to be on this call because 34 years ago today, this amazing young lady tackled my ass in a game of touch football to get my attention. 34 years ago today, we were playing touch football, not tackle. I'm going for a touchdown. I get tackled to the ground and I'm like, who the tackled me? This is touch football. And then I turn around and I see it's a girl that tackled me and I'm instantly smitten. It was like, because my ego did kick in. In my mind, it was, if she could tackle me, she must be awesome. Now, I'll let her tell you why she tackled me. Yep, it is there.
Our videos up there?
It's as big as Oakland. Yeah.
We're up there in the corner.
I don't know. That's the way it works on ours. Let me see if I can pin ours. I'm going to see if I can pin. Oh, there we go. There we are, baby.
To the small video. Okay. Now, what am I supposed to say?
Why did you tackle my ass to the ground?
Okay. What does it? Sea Cadets. I had joined Sea Cadets, and I believe in
In the U.S., they call it Sea Scouts.
Sea Scouts.
Yeah.
So I was 14, and Robert was already part of the Sea Cadets. And from the first time I walked in and saw him being Mr. out there in front of everybody, and I was just like, yeah, okay, that's gonna be mine. We're gonna be a couple. Yes, we are. And it took me
2 years.
2 years for this guy to finally notice me.
Because, like most men, I was clueless. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why I'm aerodynamic today. I was clueless. I just wasn't catching on. I noticed a girl. I was noticing girls. I just didn't notice the right girl.
Yeah. So he wasn't going out with anybody, or I wasn't breaking up any relationships, but he did. The reason I tackled him is because I finally gave up on him. Or I not gave up, but I was like, okay, this guy is just so clueless. And he started making eyes at another girl and hitting on her. That's why I tackled his ass to the ground, because it was like, hey, that's it. I give up on you. I'm just gonna show you what, for. So I did. I tackled his butt to the ground, and I think that you ended up losing your necklace or something like that. But anyways, he definitely noticed me.
She got my attention. And it was actually technically June 5th that she tackled me. Because on June 6th, the next day, and it was the 6 months, the 6th day of the 86th year. And this is why sixes are so powerful in our life. Because the next day, we hop in my car, we're volunteering again, and we go to, we were watching jet boat races, just actually a few miles from where we live now. And we stop my car, we open the doors, we're listening to music, we laid a blanket on the ground, and we're watching the races, and we are talking. That's what we were doing. We were talking. Well, Obama, Anna, why are you guys laughing? We were talking. Come on. And while we were talking,
I did not kiss you until you asked me to go out.
That's a good point.
I had an attitude of, oh, now you're going to have to work for it.
And I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes. And it's the power of music as well, because in that moment on the radio or on my car, Madonna's True Blue song came on, and that instantly became our song. And even today, no matter where we are in the world, if either of us hear that song, we stop and we connect. And to go to the three things, I love the answers, Vinny, that you gave, because the male answers I know it works for us. The women's answers come from a different perspective. But one of the biggest things, and I will never, ever, ever have an issue telling people this, is that I would not be where I am today if it was not for Roxanne. Because in my conditioning, in my programming, I was kept to play small, and you don't think outside of the box. You follow the rules. You don't even second guess them. You just do it. And this young lady here, she taught me to stretch my horizons. And she actually holds me to a higher standard than I hold myself, even if it means kicking me in the ass. And that's one of the parts of a strong relationship. You don't physically, no, she doesn't have to. If she gets close to having to physically kick me in the ass, I know I better be running. So it's come close to getting to that stage. But in all seriousness, it's having, and I'm glad the two of you said it. And sorry, Vinny, I missed the name of your beautiful bride because I think we were reconnecting. Nope, he's going to say it.
Tanya.
Anya?
Tanya.
Tanya, yes, TV. That's it. So I loved how Tanya was talking about is being different people and accepting each other, because that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Hair, no hair. No hair.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's the one that is supposed to be out in front. I'm in the background. I don't want any attention. Like, this is really hard for me. When we're going through Peak Potentials and all the trainings, I ran the events. I did all the logistics and behind. And why? Because I wanted to make sure my man was covered on the stage.
And that's one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Busted my butt to make sure that happened all the time. Now he's on his own.
And and Dr. O, you talked about when Anna quit holding you accountable and you found me, and it's amazing how life transforms, because in my first years of being a trainer, Roxanne was the event supervisor, so I knew I was covered, so I knew I could focus on what needed to be on stage. And one of the toughest days for me was the day that she stepped back, because now I had to adjust to people, not just knowing I was covered, but having to double check on things because stuff would go awry. But in the beginning, I was upset by that. I understood it and I supported her because it needed to happen. But then, of course, all things change. And what was cool is she kept traveling with me. And instead of being the logistics supervisor, she became my greatest coach, because she knows me better than anybody does. And
I was coaching you on the phone every time he had a break and stuff, because I knew everything that should be happening. So I wasn't there physically, but I was there emotionally and spiritually, and yeah.
And when she was with me, she'd be at the back of the room watching me, and I wouldn't have to say a word, and she knew if something was off. And at the break, she'd be like, "What's going on?" And I'd be like, "Nothing." "Bullshit. What's going on? Why are you having an issue?" "I'm not having an issue." "Yes, you are." Right? And she wouldn't let me off until I would come clean to what was bothering me, because she could see it. And even if the students didn't realize it, she knew. And so, yeah, and I don't know if this answers the question, but that's, so when Tanya and Vinny, you're talking about allowing each other to be different, but holding each other to a higher standard, that code. And, we're Canadian, so we don't have the Marines, but No Man Left Behind is still a big, big part of our lives. And the fact that we grew up in cadets, that's where we learned about teamwork. We learned about commitment. We learned about being there for your team. And that's a relationship. Is it always going to be smooth and happy and rah rah? No. And you show me a relationship that is, and I'll show you a relationship that's about to implode, because they're only on the surface trying to be all that. You go deep digger, and you'll see that there's underlying currents, because relationships are work. You work at it and you commit to being there. One of my favorite posts, I think, to wrap it up for me, and then I'll let my love talk. One of the greatest quotes I've ever seen on Facebook. You got a granddaughter, really young, and a grandma sitting on a porch. And the granddaughter asks the grandmother, says, "Grandma, how is it you and Grandpa make it work?" And Grandma says, "Well, dear, when we grew up, we learned that if something's broke, you fix it." Today, so many people just walk away too easily, in my opinion. If a relationship is not challenging you, then there's something wrong. That's my story, as Les Brown would say, and I'm sticking to it. Anything you want to add to that?
No, when I made the comment that we're opposites, I'm, well, yeah, I'm the grounded one. But he's the out there, got to do everything, so I look to myself as the eye of the storm, which I hold very dearly, because being grounded in a relationship is very important to me. It's and he's grounded at times.
I've been grounded many times.
But when we, just to dive back, when we got married 31 years ago, it was 2 days later, I ended up in the hospital. So I still look at him today and go, why did you stay with me? Why? Like, it showed me then, like, how much we were meant to be together. I was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, and all the years going through me working with my health and stuff, we realized, when did you realize it? Maybe 10 years in?
When I started personal development.
It was a long time after. But I'll let you share that.
I didn't realize, so.
And the reason I'm sharing this is because a lot of people, not necessarily our story, but it plays into a lot of relationships, just changing the dynamics.
I didn't realize that, so 3 days after we got married, Roxanne had planned the whole wedding. Our families don't have money, so we planned it, we paid for it, took us 11 years to pay it off. And 3 days after she'd relaxed from all the pressure of planning and going through it, it triggered her diabetes, and she spent 3 weeks in the hospital. And I didn't realize that in that moment that she went to the hospital, I internalized as a belief, marrying me caused her sickness. And I became her protector. This young lady right here is the strongest woman I know, but I started to steal her power from her because I wanted to protect her out of love. Honey, I'll take care of this. You relax. Your sugars are high. I got it. And I became her protector, trying to do everything. And then slowly I saw her power go down and down. And it was when we entered personal development. This, I guess, is one of the main reasons I'm so passionate about people learning, is the day I allowed her to step back into her power and realized I didn't have to try and do everything. I saw her light shine so bright, again, for the first time in years. And she tackled my ass again. And yeah.
Just wanted to share that, because absolutely everybody can bring that into their own relationships and grow from it.
Back to you, Dr. O, quick.
Awesome. Well, Robert, we love both of you, and appreciate you, your love, your story, and it's really important sometimes, as you said, like when we believe things, and Robert believed that he was the cause, and through really the discovery of self-development or personal development, he realized, one had nothing to do with the other. But in that also, I know something that happened was a deeper level of profound love, which kept you guys going. So thank you so much for sharing that. We love you both and appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's right. So we're gonna pivot a little bit, go across the pond to the ACSIRA presentation record holder, right? The young lady that this morning, like, she's so hot off the press that you guys get a chance to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the young lady that took the presentation from the previous presenters. She is faster, more effective, more passionate, and a better deliverer than the founder and CEO himself, John Satoris. So nervous this morning. It was unbelievable. I love it. But, Samira, you have been such a joy to work with in the last, less than 90 days. And Imran, thank you. So your personality is kind of like mine. Imran's is like Anna's. Thank you for being as, supportive and encouraging to your wife. Because it showed up in business to give you guys a success. Anna and I was actually just talking. In the last 10 days, it was a shift of belief in the business. And the same thing happens in relationships. In the last 10 days, you guys did and produced more in 10 days than you did the previous 2 months. And that was being here, showing up consistently. It's the same thing in relationships. So I love both of you guys, and we'd love for you to share, absolutely. We'd love for you to share, your story and, the three things that has kept you guys together. Obviously, we know Imran has no problem sharing, but like Roxanne, he'd probably rather go last. So, Samira, you are up first.
Yes, sir. First of all, thank you so much. I don't know if I should take this as a compliment because you said I got done in 17 minutes. And I kept asking everybody in the house, did you even understand what I said? Because I don't remember what I said in the presentation. So thank you for that. I'm going to let Imran take the lead today, talking about a relationship, because I can start by saying that if I have anything in my life today, whether it's my business, whether it's following my passion, or whether being in ACSIRA, it would have not happened if this man wasn't standing by. So he doesn't talk a lot, and this day I'm going to give it to him. He needs to know that he needs to share our story. So I'm all his.
I can do it in 1 minute. I can just say what Roxanne said, ditto, and I'm done. But no, it's been so I always had this thing that I know my strengths, I know my opportunities, and that was something that we also learned. We had a share of relationships before we got married, so I knew what I was getting into and what was not working, and then eventually what worked, because we got married in 3 months of knowing each other. By the time, so we were in the same office. By the time we told our, because we were in the same office, we had to tell our leaders of, we are dating and all. So by the time we tell them, she's coming home to meet my mom. And from there, the next thing is we are telling them, okay, we plan to get married. So our invitation is going to come through. And that's like 3 things. And people are like, okay, what happened out here? So yeah, that's the pace of everything. And so, we just knew it was meant to be. I just keep teasing her. You were sitting at the office desk and you tell me, my mom's talking about marriage. And I'm like, you kind of trapped me in that word. I keep teasing her on that. But it's been great. And so, as I said, I knew my strengths and opportunities, and I saw that what I'm not good at, she's really great at. And that's really helped us in our relationship, is being able to accept what I know I'm good at and what not. And we worked complementing each other together on that, because that's how it helps us get better. So she's good at her, her skills, and I'm good at the numbers game, and putting it together, and probably the planning. So what Roxanne said, the number and the planning, and so I do all of that, and she'll be pulling me in the front. Come, I need you in front. I'm like, I'm happy behind. I'm happy seeing your success, and I know it's mine as well. But yeah, you're the face, and you deserve it more because you're executing it at the end of the day, and that makes me a lot. That makes me very happy that she's getting the attention, she's getting the recognition that she deserves, because she has those abilities in her, and I don't shy away from giving it all to her, because it's changed my perspective on how things can be done in life. I would take risks, but limited, but now we're taking bigger ones. And we did take a leap of faith from moving out of our corporate jobs into business. It's taken us a while to get established. Of course, COVID did play its part, and now we're kind of, but yeah, we know how to bounce back, and that's not gonna take us a while. And then of course, ACSIRA has helped us. It has helped us with obviously building, and financially, yes, we'll see it long term, but it's also helped us kind of learn and evolve as people. So I think that's important in a phase like this, where you're surrounded by positive people, and it's just that it's wonderful that it's across the globe. So I think all of you here. Yeah, I know she's more active on the trainings and all, and then, but I'm still listening around, and I'm hearing it, and then I'll probably connect from the back end, and Annie's laughing here, and
So
yeah, it's been a great journey. We're just completed 7 years, so still a long way to go, but yeah, we know it's gonna go well. And yeah, we're just like, yeah, well, we look at Miracle, and we're like, okay, we want a happy child like her. So yeah, that's
So, Dr. O, I'm going to add the crazy part of how I thought about Imran when we first met. So like he said, we were in the same office. For some reason, I think it's the universe. I've had some terrible relationships, and we were very open about this to each other, that no matter what happens, you need to know what happened in my life. And thank God that did not work out. I don't think I'd be here today. No regrets at all. And so you all know that we fast for 30 days in Ramadan. So what happened in our office, that's how it all kick-started. We would all sit together. 30 days of fasting is just like Lent for some people. You just fast the whole day, and then you eat in the evening. And every single day, or in those 30 days, our office group, whoever fasted, got together at the pantry area, and we broke our fast together. And I would see him there. We wouldn't talk. I didn't know who he was. All I knew was his last name, which is Valani. All right. And my stupid brain always thought that Valani was a different culture, not really the culture I belong to. And I asked my friend one day, why the hell is he eating with us if he's not fasting? And my friend comes and says, do you know his first name? I'm like, no. And then like, Imran. I'm like, oh, he's fasting. Okay. And one of the days I did not turn up to work, and it seems he went around asking people, don't lie. He went around asking people, where is Samira? Where is Samira? And my friends came and said, he's been looking for you. And I said, why? So all that happened, and then comes Eid. That's the day we celebrate after 30 days of fasting. And like we used to sit literally across each other. I could see him from one end, and he was on the other end. And he walked in and he wished me Eid, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. We wished. And then comes a time where we started chatting on the office intranet. You have the chat box and WhatsApp. Do you want to have tea? Da, da, da. Okay. And then he says, what time would you go home? So we worked the US shifts. So I would go home sometimes at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., taking like a cab. So he messaged, how are you going home today? And I said, I'll be taking a cab. And he's like, it's 3 a.m., it's too late. And I'm like, I do this every day for the last goddamn so many years of my life, but okay. And he's like, let me drop you. It's on the way. I said, okay. He looked like a very safe guy. I said, it's okay if he wants to drop me home. So he dropped me home, and that started from dropping and picking and dropping and picking. And one day we were just having a conversation across the table, and I have no idea how it landed up to, are you married? No, I'm not. My mom's looking for a guy. And in India, it's normal when your mom looks for a guy. Yeah, it's no big deal. So that conversation led to something, I don't know what. I don't even think he proposed. I literally fought with him. You never asked me out or proposed. And the mothers in the house realize something is fishy, because for someone who doesn't talk on the phone at all, I hate talking on the phone, is continuously on a phone call, and he is on a phone call. And Gulzar is there, by the way. She's my sister-in-law. Gulzar, say hi. So my mother-in-law calls her up in the US because she was there saying, I think he has a girlfriend. He's been talking on the phone too much. So finally, both our parents, like both the moms, come to know, and we're like, okay, it's better we tell them before they come and bust our asses off. So I told my mom, and he tells his mother, and guess what? We're like, okay, let's get them to meet. Now, this is literally the first month of us meeting. The moms get together, and guess what they're discussing? When should we get them married? And I'm like, hold on. Wait, this is just the first meeting. So at office, it was even weird, because I went up to my boss, and he goes up to his boss and says, okay, we need to let you know, because the HR says that if you're dating somebody in the office, people need to know. So the first question my boss asked me, I hope he's not in your team. I'm like, wow, that's very encouraging. No, he's not. He's not a part of my team. He's a different team. And so that was my first leave I took at work. I'm like, I'm going to meet Imran's mother. And my boss was like, didn't you just tell me last week you were dating? I'm like, and this week you're meeting the mother. I'm like, And then after about a month, I think, your first birthday. Yeah. After a month, I go back to him and say, I need more leaves. What are you doing now? We're getting married. He's like, hold on. What are you doing? So literally from the day we met till we got married, it was literally 3 months. I had the whole world coming and telling me, you're not doing this right. You don't know the guy. They went and told him this. We had people literally telling us, oh, let's see how long this will last. We don't even know. So it was mean, but I knew for myself that I needed someone like this, because I can't keep my mouth shut. And someone needs to shut me up. So he does that really well. But like I said, that if he didn't come into my life, I don't think I would ever achieve half of what I have achieved till date. Because from getting me to quit my job, very, very well planned, from making sure I achieved the dream I had of the academy, to getting me to do ACSIRA, everything. In fact, till we speak, the presentation, he was in the studio on a Zoom call with me, and I was practicing. And he's like, slow down, calm down, don't say this, don't say that. I'm like, okay. But this has been the most incredible. So he hates to hear this, but I like to call ourselves Tom and Jerry, because I don't think I would have found a better friend in my life, more than a husband, than him. And I'm blessed to have Gulzar in my life. She's the coolest sister-in-law to have, and even cooler is my mother-in-law. So I think we're very blessed. And now I feel so, and I have my choti mama. So I found a new mom here, Annie, who I call the younger mother. But I am so happy that, Imran came into my life. And like Roxanne said, he keeps me grounded. There are days people will appreciate a lot of things I do, and I'll be jumping around the whole house, and he'll say, okay, it's all right, calm down. You can do better than this. And I'll be like, oh, thanks. Okay. But yeah, that's us. 7 years in the marriage, very happy to be here. And I'm looking at you guys, and I'm like, oh, we have a really long way to go. And I'm so glad I met you, because we learned from you. And thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Congratulations. We're so excited. You guys look like you just got married yesterday. I love it. And I was about to say, ask Imran a question. I said, but don't lie. So that was so cute. But I'm so excited. I'm so happy for you guys. You guys' story is so beautiful too. I can't wait for us to actually have like a weekend together with everyone. So that's beautiful. And Samira, it looks like you're going to say something.
Yes, doctor. So I must say this, while I always complained that he never proposed and he just got me stuck into marriage, he did one thing for me. I expected him to propose me when we were alone, or, something really exciting. He came to my house about a week or a few days before our wedding, and he told my mother that in our family, we have a ritual that the bride is supposed to meet the whole family and they need to approve. I'm like, this is 10 days before the wedding. They can't disapprove now. So he takes me for dinner, and his entire family, like the closest people were there. I sit for dinner. This is his whole interrogation happening. And suddenly I have him right here kneeling down and proposing in front of all of them. So I'm really, really thankful to him for that he did it.
Oh,
That
that's
is
awesome.
That's awesome. So, you I don't know if you could see it, but you just had instant makeup. You just had a whole bunch of blush on, right? It's like best. You don't blush without a brush. So, Imran, you are the new makeup. I'm calling you instant blush, bro. So,
Thank you.
I love it. So, congratulations to you both. Thank you guys for sharing your story. Before we call on Dean and Dean's not feeling well. If Dean is up to talk a little bit, I would love to hear you share a little bit about you guys. But I know Kella asked a question about. Let me see if pasted back here. He had asked, is there any advice for single parent entrepreneurs building businesses, keeping positive relationships? And Kella, what I would say for that, and any of the other couples can probably chime in, but I'll tell you, in my transition, when I went back to being literally a single parent entrepreneur building, it was a change of mindset for me. Two things I had to decide. So for the first half, I was just like mad at women because of my personal situation. And I was just going to go out to get my money, right? A mentor told me, bro, the best revenge is massive success. Like, you don't need, I was like, okay, great. So I was believing that. And then the truth was, for me, at age 29, when, for a whole other year kind of went by, but within that year and a half almost of being with 29 into almost 31, where I met Anna, the truth was, I was lonely and horny, so I had a change of plans. Because I went 18 months without doing anything. After, being married and then go like 18 months of drought, it was different. So it changed my philosophy. So then I was like, well, this isn't really working. I'm not going to be a monk. I'm not a monk. I didn't plan to be no monk. So I had a come to Jesus moment. But then I set out what I wanted in a woman and what I was willing to do. But in that 18 months prior, it was more so my focus. So what I would say for you as a, like a single parent, that as an entrepreneur, you already know some of the philosophies about business. They are the exact same for relationships. And at the time, I was willing to show up consistently with a good attitude and be willing to pay the price for that woman I wanted. And when I decided, one of my prerequisites was to be equally yoked this time with someone who understood my philosophy and my grind, because my first wife didn't really understand it. So Anna and I had a specific, we had a plan. We sat down together. We also did not want it to date without the intention of being married together, because it was just a waste of my time, and it was a waste of her time too. So we said, if we're going to do this, for us, we were friends for 3 years, right? Obviously, she called it the stocking years. And then we started dating for 3 years, and then we got engaged at 1. So the biggest thing for you is, if you do decide to get into a relationship, you want to kind of figure out if you're looking for that now or if you're looking for the success now. Because if you don't decide which is which, you're kind of going to be like teeter-totter, and you won't get either or. You won't get either one. So, but if you say right now, you know what, for the next 18 months, I'm just going to focus on my business, then you could do that. The truth is, if you decide to focus on your business the next 18 months, we're going to be out of COVID. And in a culture of personal development, what I found was it was better to date a personally developed woman than it was that one that wasn't. And I found her in the network marketing arena. So you may just find that young lady here, right? So if your focus is business, keep your business give yourself a time to focus on that passion of yours and your son. And then when you're ready for a relationship, then, you know, you put your antennas out on that. So from my perspective, that would be my answer, because I'm very strategic. So I set out at first, it was like no woman, just business. And then I was too young and too horny. So I changed that and I started focusing on, but what was funny was we decided we weren't really going to do anything of the physical nature until we got married. And as a matter of fact, like that was not even an issue because we built such a great relationship. However, though, and just so you guys know, we dated, we kissed on the cheek, never no lip and tongue, and never had sex until the wedding night. Now, from then to now, I have been making up for lost time. That is a whole different story. So that would be my 2 cents I want to throw in for you, Kella. So if Robert or
Okay, Killa, Miracle's doing the same thing over there.
Yeah.
You're being smacked with the water bottle. Trust me, it's all over the floor. We got you. We got you.
So if Robert or Vinny or, you know, Imran and Samira would love to share a little bit, definitely want to welcome that from you guys.
Yeah, and you know, the only thing I would say, because I've had this talk with, you know, a few what I consider quote unquote single parents, is my first advice would be not to label yourself as a single parent. You just happen to be a parent who's single. And really that simple mindset change, I think, can shift the way that you start creating new habits that will benefit your business and the things that you're doing. And I also think, you know, it could possibly attract the right person that is going to be that person for you and the child. But I personally think that label itself, you know, puts people in a different mindset where they could be blocking some of the things that they are actually looking for. And I tell a lot of the, again, single parents, you know, it's not a label. Again, it's just, you just happen to be a parent who's single, which means you just have to create some, I won't say better habits, but different habits than the family that has, you know, 2 individuals right there in the household. So don't limit yourself by, you know, by labeling yourself as that single parent.
That was a mic drop if I haven't seen anyone. It was just like, right, because it's all mindset. And Vinny, no comments. So I don't know, Robert, Imran, Roxanne, Samira, any words you guys want to add to that, or are you going to leave it as a mic drop?
Mic drop.
Mic drop it is.
Wait, yeah.
Hey,
Oh, wait, hang on. What?
didn't check with myself.
I haven't checked with her, but that's normal. This is a relationship right here, right? Ladies, you think men can read your minds? We can't.
Yeah.
We can barely read our own. So help us out. Tell us what you need.
Okay, I will.
Oh,
I had typed something to,
okay.
what are you pointing at?
Our chats.
Oh, and basically pointed out whoever's out in front, whatever partner, female, male, the other partner's right beside. But in culture, it's behind every man or woman is a great man or woman supporting them. Robert brought up a year and a half ago.
Yep.
He changes it. He says, no, you're beside me.
Mm-hmm.
You're not behind me.
Right.
I still say I'm behind him because I don't want to be seen on the camera. But, and he's got a really big head, so I can usually hide. But
That's
yes.
so true, Roxanne, because I am the same way. I feel the same way about it. He's the butterfly. He just came up with this analogy. I'm the caterpillar. I like to just stay in my little cocoon and just stay in there. But that is so true. Because with him, when we met, he was a butterfly. That's how we met, because he was so vocal and outgoing. but it's the truth. Yes, I always say I'm behind. I love to do exactly what you do. That was my role. But at the same time, he does the same thing as Robert, tries to put me up on stage and have me talk, and I don't want to talk. So I know exactly how you feel about that. But really, one of the biggest things is that I have really enjoyed with Obam is that he has always constantly pushed me to be better, to get out of my comfort zone, to stretch. If you guys knew me 10, 15 years ago, you guys would not even recognize who I am today. And that's because of all of the encouragement that I have gotten from him. And we are very different, very, very different. But those differences are really what makes us work. And because of that, because of my bluntness now, I've always been blunt, but now I'm more vocal about it. Because of my bluntness now, I always tell people my biggest thing in any friendship that I create is, first, I protect my relationship with my husband and my family. And no matter who you are, no matter how much I may like you, if you are threatening that, you do not belong in this environment with us. And unfortunately, we've had to leave some people behind because they're coming in with a toxic mindset of their own past relationships, their own demons, we will call them. And the thing is, when women are working with men like Robert, like Vinny, like Obama, when women are working with men that are not married or is not in a relationship, they have an attraction to that power. And that's one of the things that a lot of people are attracted to is power, the shiny thing, I call it. But having a man or the person that is out front that is able to stop it before it gets to a point where you are hindering your own relationship, your own moral compass, as I call it, as I have a baby trying to jump all over me. Those are the things that I appreciate about Obama, is knowing when to ask for help when it comes to that. And then also knowing when to stop a certain relationship, because we've encountered it all, people. Countless times, because it's just the way people are. People want what they can't have. That's just how it is. But at the end of the day, what is that? I got packages. I don't know what they are. I got packages. But at the end of the day, honestly, the thing that works with Obama and I is that we do have a solid relationship, and that we can distinguish when we want to be a husband and a wife and when we want to be business partners. Because I am two different people. We have a conversation. Yeah, a computer. We have a conversation. If he wants my advice, I always ask him, do you want me to be your wife or do you want me to be your business partner? Because those two answers are very, very different. One is, oh, I love you, you're doing okay. The other one is like, bam, 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 we got to fix it. Or whatever it is, the advice that needs to happen. But really being able to have that relationship with him and being open, talking about all subjects, the ones that know all subjects, even the ones nobody wants to talk about, is what makes us good. It makes our relationship so beautiful. And one of the things that we've always wanted is to share that about us with other people. So I personally and Obama have put it out there that we want to connect with couples, with happily married couples. We love our singles, but the people that we surround ourselves with is the couples. Because one of the things we do know, we become who we associate with. So if we associate ourselves with happy married couples, then we are only going to help each other. We love our singles. It's not that we don't want to be associated with them. It's just if we have free time and we want to go somewhere, then we do want to. I love you, Roxanne. We want to go somewhere.
Roxanne just mentioned, she goes, you love the singles, you want to get them married.
Right, so they can be in our circle. But that's really, honestly, that's the truth. And we've made that a point ever since we got married, is to just get to meet new couples. One of our favorite couples is actually lives here in Atlanta. They've been married for over 60 years. And that was one of the people we've met. They actually married us because he's a pastor. But they're one of the people that we first met when we moved out here to Atlanta. And they are amazing. They actually did Miracles Baptism. So, Vinny, you've met Fran and Ron. You feel better? Okay. So, but those are the things, like there's just little things we do for ourselves to protect our bubble, because we have to. We have to protect our bubble no matter how we look at it. Is there's always outside forces trying to get in, and we always have to protect ourselves. So I'm gonna be done with that. I'm gonna be done with that.
Can you tell she's passionate about the subject, the topic? So I'm just really excited to actually I want to pass the torch a little bit to Dean. I know you're not feeling too well, but you can share a little bit about you guys, your story. And then, what's, like the top 3 things that's kept you guys, because for most of you, if you don't know, Dean and his bride are also a remarkable long-term story since like high school. So Dean, floor is yours, buddy.
So my story is, excuse my cough, it's kind of like Robert and Roxanne, except I was chasing Christy instead of the other way around. I don't know if you knew that, Robert. So my story actually is very simple. She was actually embarrassed to even know me at first, because I went from this LA to a very small, I don't want to say hick town, but a hick town. So I don't think I think I was the 3rd Asian in that town. So she had no clue who I was. But for something about her was really drawn to me. And make a long story short, I met her when I just turned 18. So I've been with her now for 28 years. We've been married together now for, about 9. But, one thing I learned before I got married, I was actually taking a trip for work for the airlines. And I was sitting next to this really old lady. And we're talking. She said, "Are you married?" I said, "No, I'm engaged." She goes, "You want to know the secret to long-term marriage?" And I'm like, "Well, what's long-term?" She goes, "Let me ask you a question. Are your parents still married?" I said, "Yeah, they've been married for 30-something years." And she goes, "Well, that's good." She goes, "The secret to marriage is," she goes, "Before I tell you that, I've been married for over 60 years. I'm like, "Oh, wow. So, okay, I'll take advice from you, because if you've been married, I don't want to take advice from someone. And so you've been married 6-7 years. And what's the secret?" She looks at me and goes straight in the eyes and goes, "Treat it like a business." And I was like, "What?" I was kind of puzzled for a while, and she starts laughing, and she goes, "You don't get it, do you?" I'm like, "No, it's kind of funny." She goes, "The problem is that if you start a business for like $400, it's too easy to quit and walk away." She goes, "But if you invest $1 million, $2 million into a business, things are going to be great. You like I said earlier, you cherish it. But when things go bad, you don't just walk away from $1 million." She's like, "Yeah. So you're going to have problems. You're going to have days where you're going to love things, and you're going to have days where things are going to be challenging." So Christy and I, of course, we've had our challenges. One of the biggest things I've learned, because she's grown up with me, like she's one of the reasons I'll say this in a weird way, but is probably why I'm still alive. I was this crazy kid, and she grounded me. She brought me down. And the biggest thing is that what changed my life is learning to change along the way. I'm not changing for her, but I changed for me. And then I realized that it's like cycles. We met when we were 18, we were stupid. We met when we were 21, we get drunk. We met when we were older. So it's like we grew together. So even today I look into her, and I'm not saying we're perfect, because we have problems too, still do, okay? But we figured things out. We go, hey, we had problems when we were 18 too. You were going to kill me for something I did. I was going to kill you for something you did, but we worked it out. So the cycle, and now we have our son. And one of the things that I really value about her is that, it's funny. Something a friend of mine said years ago, and he said this. He said, "You can have the best girlfriend in the world, and then the best fiance in the world, the best wife in the world. But she'll never know what kind of mother she's going to be until she becomes one. And one of the things that keep me and her really good is that she's an awesome mom. You know, I didn't know how good she was going to be. I thought she was going to be average, you know, because I didn't know how, you know, I thought I was going to be an average dad. And I know by no means am I an average dad. I don't mean to bloat by myself. But when she became an awesome mom, that's what even made our bond stronger. So there's days we have fights. There's days where I lose my temper. You know, she understands that, you know, but we still find ways to make things work. And so my success is that, for me, success with her, or our long term we have, is that, one, it was meant to be. That's regardless. We know that. We've known that from the day one. And so whenever we have challenges, you know what, we learn to basically, my rule is that whenever we have an argument, is that we don't leave the argument without resolving something. So we try not to leave, because she knows that I fly. I said, listen, what happens? We had a fight one day, and I left for a flight, and we had a serious problem. Our plane made the news. So I said, you know what, from this point on, if I ever have anything, whether you leave or I leave, my goal is to make sure you're happy and make sure that our argument stops there and we can make our disagreement and come back and let's talk later, because you never know what's going to happen. You know, I told you that, you know, I don't want ever to be that guy where we get in a fight and, you know, and go, wow, I wish I would never have said that. So that's one of our rules we have. And two, it's just that, you know, we change, you know, and I can't change her. When I realized that I can't change her, it's just that I learned to accept the changes that I make. And so she understands that too. So my rule is that I don't try to change anybody. You know, I just can change me and say, you know, Dean, learn to adapt to that. You know, as long as it's not like going to kill me, right? I say, learn to adapt. And I say, so, you know, Roxanne and Rob, it's a funny story, because when I heard your story, I was like, that's so funny. I was the other way around. I was trying to tackle her down. Like, I did. I was tackling her down. You know, we were from 18 years old. We've been inseparable. We've been together like literally every single day. So I think that's so funny that Robert, you guys are, yeah, I literally did tackle her down at a restaurant. Sorry, I just had to say that, Robert. That's just so cool, because you know, she wasn't. You know, it's funny. She was embarrassed the whole, like, when we started dating. Like, you know, I'll just say, we didn't hold hands till we started actually dating. We didn't kiss for like even after like a month after dating. It's weird, right? Because she told me one day, she goes, I was the reason why I didn't hold your hand in public for a while. So I was embarrassed. And I'm like, what are you embarrassed about? I didn't know. You know, I didn't know what an Asian person was. There's no Chinese person, you know. And then so that's just funny. But now she's, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. We can go someplace and they'll say, oh, look at that Chinese guy. And she's like, nope, he's not Chinese, Korean. So.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know, Dean, thank you so much for sharing your heart, brother. Appreciate and love you so much, man. As we kind of draw to a near end here, we wanted to just take some time out and truly, you know, celebrate love. We'll be doing more events and stuff like this for the family, and when we actually have live events, we'll do stuff where it's more to share and so on. But on the biggest part is really just celebrate Robert and Roxanne's love, right? 31 years of marriage is so exciting. Love you guys so much. And then, so this has been, like, listen, Anna and I, we love love. And then most importantly, we love celebrating our friends and family, because not too many people do it. This has been a really great time for Robert, because, you know, with all that's going on in the world, most of you guys know, like, coming down from like making a great income and almost having it like gone, then the transition into something new and celebrating. And he had his birthday, his, you know, wedding anniversary, time that they met, and very, very, very soon, this is that, right? He even took some time off. We'll be celebrating him as the newest diamond, right? It would be like so cool. So I'm absolutely excited for that. We're gonna have to do this again, also for you guys to, like, seriously take the time tomorrow. If you're gonna work just a little bit, but enjoy your time off tomorrow. Before we close out, though, I want to bring back, when I see Robert's point, one. We got you. So Robert, let me pin you guys back here. You're up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, because thank you so much, and we are looking forward to when we do go diamond and get to inspire people. And a lesson I wanted to teach everybody that's been a big one for me over the last few days is the lesson of patience. You know, it was like, wow, I want to go diamond on our anniversary. Wow, I want to go diamond the next day. Wow, I want, and learning to not, that we can't force it. If we do, it becomes a lot tougher. But if we actually allow the patience of it, it's going to be perfect when it hits. You know, and I get that energy of like, but we've got, I know we have tons of volume in the works right now. Why aren't they doing it today? Today is the day. And carrying that energy, I notice it makes me unproductive, because, you know, as all misery comes from expectation and attachment. I'll say that again. All misery comes from expectation and attachment. And all happiness comes from courageous curiosity. And so instead of being like, oh, why didn't it happen? It's like, okay, why didn't it happen? And that lesson of patience has been a big one for me for the last few days. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
I can sum it up this way. I love fishing, going and fishing and peace and quiet, and just him. I bought him a hat that says, it has this fish and it says, shut up and fish, or catch a fish. And he goes, his saying is, I don't like fishing. I like catching, because he wants the action.
Me too.
I love it. I love it. And I think, you know, Robert, also that lesson of, you know, patience in business is the reason why you guys have 31 years of marriage celebrating, is patience in your relationship too. The two goes hand in hand. So thank you both. Thank you, Vinny and Tanya. Thank you, Imran and Samira. Thank you, Dean and Christy. And we'll be on celebrating more love, new love, young love. And, you know, if there's more love in the family share that wants to connect and love each other, we support it. And that's how Ali and I met, right? Network marketing is the best of finding the most personally developed spouse that you can find. So with that, we love every one of you. We'll be back on at 3 for the question and answer. And congratulations to Stephanie, because she's behind the scenes working right now. She just got a new founder on board. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to Samira. If you want to top Samira, you better get practicing, because this woman dropped the bomb. I love you guys. Take care, everyone. God bless, and we'll chat soon. Bye for now.
Love you.